This episode of Stuck in Vermont is brought to you by Coldwell Banker, Hickok & Boardman Realty.
'Cause we're stuck in Vermont.
Welcome to Stuck in Vermont, brought to you by 7 Days. My name is Ava Sahlberger. We're here at the Davis Center in Burlington, Vermont for the VSO Waltz Night. The Vermont Symphony Orchestra is celebrating their 75th year, and they're the oldest state-supported symphony in the United States.
It's one of the rich experiences of life to be able to enjoy good music.
Tonight is Waltz Night, our 32nd annual fundraiser black tie affair for the Vermont Symphony Orchestra.
It's one of the few events in Vermont that is elegant like
It's the
that.
most elegant evening in Vermont.
Yes.
It really is.
And a lot of fun to see what everybody else is wearing and how they're dancing and who's here.
People have come out here because they want to support the orchestra. They like being in the presence of the orchestra, and the orchestra feeds off of that.
Let's welcome our principal guest conductor, Tony Princiati, and your Vermont Symphony Orchestra.
Yeah, we're 75 years old.
This has been such a great part of our lives as Vermonters for so many years.
A wonderful thing that our symphony has survived this long and come so far.
These musicians are in the upper percentile in the world.
For a small state of Vermont to have such a quality orchestra, that has really national performers, national conductors like Jamie Laredo.
And we bring in a lot of wonderful soloists, world famous people.
If it were like baseball, it's the major leagues.
Yeah, we're doing the real thing up here in the sticks.
I've been around with the orchestra for
22 years.
Since 1983.
It's over a decade.
Over a period of 35 years, I've known many of these people. We've all sort of grown up together.
There are a few of us, a handful of us that have been here a really long time.
It also makes it like a family when we get together.
The Vermont Symphony is a great group of musicians.
So we build a certain sound together. The orchestra becomes a real tight unit that way.
Any one of us in the Vermont Symphony, if we don't play our scales and very basic things for a week, we're out of shape.
If I had my way, I would practice 5 hours a day.
I could be playing 6-8 hours a day sometimes.
When I'm practicing regularly, I try to practice between 1 and 2 hours a day.
Every concert is represented silently by hours upon hours of effort and very highly concentrated work.
A lot of time spent alone practicing.
Kind of lonely, shutting yourself up in a room all the time, but it's worth it.
That's what musicians do.
I think our biggest challenge, frankly, is to attract young members, young audiences.
We have a gray audience, yes, and symphony orchestras always have. But of course, if we always have a gray audience, there are going to be people that will be turning gray in 30 years and 50 years and 75 years. Our audiences are as strong as they've been in 50, 75 years, I would say.
In the world of iPod, where the music is actually condensed, the sound is condensed, when you hear a live orchestra, if you're younger, it could really excite you.
With an orchestra like this, the sheer vitality of what's going on can be a hook. First of all, the state is small enough so that the orchestra can really have an impact, and it travels all over the place. So you have people who can actually hear an orchestra live who ordinarily wouldn't be able to do so.
And we play in 30 or 40 communities with a full orchestra every year.
We really get to see every little nook and corner in Vermont.
We pride ourselves on being your Vermont Symphony Orchestra, so we go everywhere.
Doing anywhere between 150 and 200 performances a year for school children. We reach close to half of the elementary and middle school students in the entire state. And I got to tell you, I don't think there's any other orchestra that can lay claim to that.
And I think one of the greatest things about the Vermont Symphony is the work that it does with kids. Bringing classical music into the classrooms, educating and informing.
We've played in schools in the farthest corners of the state.
And a lot of these kids have never seen many of these instruments.
I think a lot of times this music explores elements of the human condition that aren't generally accessed, certainly in popular music.
You know, music means a lot to people. It moves you.
If it wasn't for the VSO, I wouldn't even be stuck in Vermont. My mother moved us from Manhattan to Vermont in the 80s to be a flautist in the VSO. So thanks a lot, VSO. We hope you stick around for another 75 and then some. We'll get stuck up with you again real soon.
We're starting to outgrow our home now, and we're just renting, and we're getting married in 2 weeks, so we want to start a new home together.
To be represented by a realtor makes more sense now than ever.
Oh, it's great. He does everything for you and explains everything.
Your home is your largest investment that you're ever going to make.
Take your time.
You have to have fun with it.
My goal as your realtor is to help you make a good decision that you're going to be happy with for a long time.